All right, everybody. Good afternoon, good evening, good night, good morning, good whenever it is you tune in. Hope all is going well for you. In case you were wondering, it is not going all that well for me for several reasons. But we're going to get into this perfectly normal stream. Ain't that right, Trey? Welcome back, by the way.
Very much, man. Very much.
So, as we get into this Vikings and Falcons conversation, yeah, I'm going to be like that. Uh, Now I know what you're thinking. For those of you that are tuning in and like doing a rewatch afterwards, don't worry. I'm probably gonna have a timestamp or something going into this stream so that you will have the moment ready for when I do the thing that I said that I would do last week. I have everything set up. I might have to do it sooner rather than later because something just came up. I wanted to have it done while there was as many people as possible watching the stream. That way but I can't do that anymore. I don't have that luxury of time for multiple reasons. Um, so, yeah, we're going to get into this. But, Trey, did you have anything about the last week's game that involved the Falcons and the Blue Eiffel Tower?
So, the Red Stallions in the Oilers game, man, that was very frustrating. I watched it at my auntie's house. We had a barbecue last week, so got to be in pain in front of my family. Nothing new, nothing new. First of all, as you guys all know, one of the cornerstones of this franchise for the last 10 years. Let me get that. Yeah, not 10 years, like whatever you want to count it as. Tore his ACL, Mr. Grady Jarrett. As you all know, I've gone through that twice now, tearing both ACLs and both knees. So, yeah, not the most unpainful thing. But yeah, as you could see, pressure or he was more important than what we realized and what a lot of people counted on him for, because we could not get a lick of pressure on Will Levis, or as I would like to say, Mr. Coffee plus Mayo Boy. Anyway,
Yeah, you're
uh,
not going to be the only one having to clear the throat after saying that.
so anyway, love you, Noah. Um, yeah, that game right there was frustrating, hair pulling, exciting. Um, Desmond Ritter, as you guys have all known, I've been supporting Mr. Dez since the day he was drafted to the Red Stallions. I say he could be a franchise quarterback. I still do believe that. Even though it is very doubtful in my mind that if Mr. Heineke wins these next two games, he's probably never touching the field again, unless something goes absolutely wrong or Heineke gets injured. So either way, the only way he gets back in is if something goes bad for the team, which I wouldn't want that to happen because I support the team. I support the players, but I support the team more than I support the player. So, as you all know, Mr. Heineke starting tomorrow, 1 o'clock Eastern. Um, he did pretty good last week, 12 of 21, 175 yards, one touchdown. Didn't force the ball, had a couple of nice, like tight window throws. I was like, Jesus Christ, like it's beautiful. I think it was the first drive he got in. He kind of like backdoored it to Kyle Pitts because the linebacker was getting ready to jump the ball, and he kind of like just put it right on his back shoulder. So one, that he wouldn't get killed, and or two, he wouldn't get killed, and it wouldn't be a pick six. So the Kadero Hodge pass that was for like 40, 50 something yards. The Van Jefferson pass he just had a lot of nice like key. I mean not high key, high radar type throws that you were like, okay, like he's more comfortable than what Desmond is right now. He knows how to throw the ball away. Um, the timing is earlier, as a lot of people have said. So we'll see how everything goes tomorrow. We'll talk more about this later in the stream. As far as the Oilers go, they didn't really do anything special at all. If I'm being honest, of course, Derrick Henry, if he had, I think he had like 25 rushing attempts. He had over 100 yards. Really didn't have many big runs. Only had about two or three big runs that were like 10, 15 yards. So we really basically had him um, keyed on. Traylon Burks didn't do much that game. He really hasn't done much all season. Also, prayers up Traylon. He was carted off the field. Well, taken off the field on the Thursday night game with a head injury. So prayers up to him. Hopefully he's doing all right. Made DeAndre Hopkins look like it was 2018. Ugh, my God, I have never, ever. Now, I will say the touchdown he had on AJ Terrell was one of the worst missed calls I have ever seen in my life. If raw receivers could hug a man and throw you out the way, we'd be putting up 50 points a game. That's an offensive pass, and the fact that Saints fans are agreeing with us on this means the earth is ending soon, guys. The Saints fans don't like us. We don't like them. We really agree with anything that they have to say. So when they actually agree with this on something, you know it's true. That was an offensive pass interference. If Noah was a corner and I was a wide receiver and the ball's coming up and I just said, you know what? Get out of my way. Just throw you out the way. And they don't call the flag, I'm going to be mad. And AJ Terrell was mad. Other than that, AJ Terrell pretty much had him on locks all day, and he didn't do much other than the 3 big bombs he had. Well, 2 and the touchdown.
No, what is Baron Corbin's like finisher? Isn't it like deep six or something where he just like spins around the person and slams them? I think that's that. I think he was trying to do that, like while running.
Pretty much.
Yeah, that's incredibly tough to do. But it seems to be like the easiest thing in the world to get away with if you're playing in your own stadium.
Oh yeah, yeah. To be honest, I don't even know if they would have called that if we were home. I'm just being honest with you. I don't know if they would have called that.
Because it happened against us, yeah, of course. But
yeah, we'll see tomorrow. What was the third thing I wanted to talk about? Oh yeah, the D line. As you all know, like I said, Grady is down. London is down. Both our Londons are down. Both of them. New England is in. I mean, not New England. London is in terrible fashion right now. Both are down for tomorrow. One's on IR though. The less important one is on IR.
LaCale, by the way.
Yeah, LaCale, not Drake. I was kind of upset because of what happened at the trade deadline, but I was also, and if you guys all remember how Falcons Twitter blew up when the Bears traded the 35th pick to the Washington Commanders, Redskins, idiots, Jack, you know what? Yeah, traded him there. Reports came out the following day stating that we were close on the deal was basically done. It was 95 was, you just bought a new game, you're 12 years old, you're like, ooh, I can't wait to play this game when I get home. Gonna stick it in the game, and it stops at 95% because the disc is scratched. And that's what happened to us. The Bears swooped in late after knowing that we were going to extend him. The deal was basically done, and that Montez wanted to come home to play for his hometown team and be with his family, because basically his entire family is basically down here. They swooped in and gave them basically a first-round pick for a guy. Now, I'm not saying, oh, what's going on, Michael? I'm not saying that Montez Sweat is trash. I'm not. Montez Sweat is probably a top 15 pass rusher in the league. But are you really giving a first-round pickup for Montez Sweat, but not Danielle Hunter? One has 5.5 sacks on the year. The other is leading the league in sacks and QB hits and QB pressures. And it's probably 99% better than what Montez Sweat will ever be. So as you all seen today, they gave the man $105 million, worth to $105 million deal today.
Yeah, I think it was a 4-year, $98 million.
Yeah, 98. Incentives push it up to like $105 million with the say, you know how this goes, QB hits, sacks, all of that. So yeah, they gave him that, wholly overpaid for that man, because I'm pretty sure Terry Fontenot was not giving $100 million to a guy that's never had a double-digit sack season. That's Dimitrov stuff, not Terry Fontenot stuff. Um, but yeah, the D line, we had a couple of sacks, but the sacks were like one of them. I think Will Levis just tripped, and Arnold Ebiketie was just there at the perfect time and just touched him, so it counts as a sack for him. The other one, Will Levis tried coming up in the pocket. We sacked him basically at the line of scrimmage, maybe a yard behind it, so it wasn't really that big of a difference between him just doing a QB sneak and getting nothing. Other
Gotta
than that,
bump those numbers up though.
yeah, gotta pump the numbers up. But we did not get any pressure on him at all. It was like he could go to his ex-girlfriend, ask to get back with her, give him a promise ring, say their vows, come back to the game, drink a cup of coffee, extra mayo, jug it, and then go back out and throw a 45-yard bomb to DeAndre Hopkins. That was what was going on. That was what he had way too much time in the pocket, and I hope with Christian Darrisaw and who's starting at left guard tomorrow? I forgot. They
Let me
just
check.
traded their left guard for a box of chips. For the backup, he used to play on the Broncos just last year.
Oh,
And
Dalton Reisner.
yeah, Dalton Reisner. Yeah, they traded him for Dalton Reisner, and he kind of yeah. Let's just hope we get some pressure tomorrow. Um, but, okay, but yeah, it kind of just I hope that we can get some type of pressure tomorrow. I don't care if we have to send Caden Ellis 15 times. Well, actually, now that I think about it, and I think me and you talked about this when Ryan Nielsen was hired, that the Saints didn't blitz a lot. Unless I mean, they blitzed, but you didn't really know when it was, and they didn't really do it a lot. They just put a lot of forefront, man coverage, cover two underneath, all of that type of stuff. So
Just gave you a lot of looks for it.
yeah,
They
they
can
give you the
come from
looks.
different angles,
Yeah, like I've never seen Jesse Bates blitz so much in my entire life. I don't
but
even
it
think he
should have
blitzed.
been like up to a young quarterback that hasn't really had to deal with an experienced defensive coordinator.
Now
But
see the
that's neither
thing
here
is
nor
though.
there, apparently.
Now see the thing is though. I think some people forget, even though this defense is top five, and that was, in my opinion, that was a fluke. And I don't think that type of game will ever happen again, or it won't happen tomorrow. Um, I think some people forget Ryan Nielsen is also a quote unquote rookie defensive coordinator. He's still learning what to do, what coverages he wants to keep running, what blitzes he wants to keep running, who he's going to use on those blitzes. And like I said, yeah, we have one of the top secondaries in the league. Jeff Okuda and AJ Terrell have been great. Um, just we all know what Jesse Bates has been. We don't really hear his name called in bad retrospects a lot. Richie Grant, whew, boy, Richie Grant is our Robert Alford at safety. Lord have mercy. Oh my God, if
He
if you could like
throws up
and
one game, and what the heck happens the next game? I
like last game,
keep trying to defend this man.
like last game, he's all over the field. He's making tackles, gets the pick. We're like, oh, okay, that's the Richie we've been waiting for years. Thank you. He's finally here.
I think it's beat by a double move and by a dude in his mid-30s or whatever. And
And the
it's like,
double move was so slow. Like, if you look at the instant replay, it looks like the instant replay is in slow motion in real time. Like, I don't get like you bit, and the only reason he bit on it was because a rookie quarterback pump faked. Are you serious? Now look, Richie, I understand it's 3rd and 18 or third. It's 3rd and long. Let's just get that straight. It's 3rd and long. Why are you biting on a pass that's about 15 yards? I mean, about 3 yards from the first down, and you had help with AJ in the back, and if he throws it, Caden, I think it was Nate Lamon that dropped back that far. That was right there. That was gonna make the tackle. I mean, other than the drag route where he pretty much outran Nate Lamon, but who's not outrunning a linebacker on the drag route? Let's just be honest. But still, You have Nate Landman right there. You have AJ Terrell, just guard deep, stay deep. And we talked about that with the Detroit game. He panics. He panics when he thinks the ball is coming out. When he overthinks, that's when he screws up. And that was the time where we got momentum. We just scored. It's 14-9. It's third down. It is 3rd and 16. Just guard deep, and you bit on a slow double move from a guy that hasn't had a touchdown all season long.
And again, I could expect this from the corner, not when you're the last line of defense. You always got to stay in front of the receiver.
I would rather give up a 20-yard gain that ended up in a first down than a 50-something yard touchdown that basically put momentum on their side for the rest of the game. Now, of course, we went on the next drive to go on and score and put it at 21-16. But then again, they drive right back downfield. Will Levis throws off his back foot, throws 44 yards air distance off of his back foot, just lays it right in there. Jesse Bates beat on another double move. Like I said, Jesse Bates doesn't screw up a lot, but he's been, if you notice, 2 of the touchdowns that's basically been completed where he was responsible for it, he bit trying to be greedy. The Houston touchdown with Dalton Schultz when he was like, "Oh, I'm about to cut off this dig route," he cuts up. That's a touchdown. And then the touchdown to number 15 at the Oilers game. Now, Michael, I will say this. I don't, as you know, I'm an Alabama fan. We're playing right now. I think we just scored. I think it's 7-7 right now. I haven't checked the game in a minute. Had to come in here where it was quiet. But I watched Helms. Helms makes plays, but he's also like Richie to where he can bite on those double moves. He kind of is inconsistent in coverage a lot. That's why we kind of had him in the box a lot during the season and had Moore in the back end because Moore is kind of like he's not Jesse Bates. I'm not going to disrespect Jesse Bates like that, but he's kind of more like the Jesse Bates to where he he can get sideline to sideline.
I would say more like a Keanu Neal.
Yeah, Keanu
for Helms.
Yeah.
I think if you want to have that problem fixed, and I think this is the reason why we kept Micah Abernathy, he would have that approach a little bit better because he's got a little bit more experience playing kind of a center field position
or 2 high safety.
Yeah,
and
so
the thing is, you don't even.
I would swap that out, but I would kind of agree at this point just to get him some more snaps, get a better rotation. All right, just let him not be fully responsible for what's happening.
Yeah. So. But yeah, that's about it.
So how does all this information help us with this upcoming game? Well, to do that, we have to figure out a couple of things. I think before we do that, though, I think it's time to just remove the last thing for last week. Because if you guys were there for the stream last week, thank you. And I'm sorry. If you weren't here, or if you weren't there for last week's stream, I'm just sorry. Because this cup of coffee is not my ordinary cup of coffee. I had to actually make this thing. By the way, yeah, your dog is very loud.
yeah, he about to kick him out.
He's very. I think he's sometimes closer to the microphone than you are.
Yeah, he is actually. To be honest, he's like just for some odd reason, my dad put him in here while he knows I'm on live. He's been playing around with my other dog all day, so he drinks water and then he goes to biting, scratching, and clawing on each other, and then don't drink any water. You know what? Continue about your mayo coffee. I'll be right back. Quavo, let's go, buddy.
Okay. Well, as I'm gonna do this real quick, so. Okay. because now I got people showing up trying to get this jar of mayonnaise that I took from the fridge because we're trying to have it for dinner. Um, Here it is. And I'm going to use this cup of coffee that I just made recently, just before the stream started. Not having to spend any extra resources on this thing. So, JB, oh, I'm in for it now. The reason as to why I'm doing this, by the way, is I gave myself a challenge, and Trey is doing it this game around. So, since he's not here, try to get him to either say the Falcons or the Vikings as often as you can. Because if he does it, if he says it, he's got to do the challenge with me. All right? We good? All right. Just keep in mind, try to include the Falcons and Vikings as often as you possibly can in your comments. I'm going to put him up. I'm going to ask him some questions. We're going to make this annoying for him. All right? We're going to team up here. You and I? All right? Listen up. Because I got to do this right now because I said Falcons accidentally when I was trying to do the entire stream, either saying Red Stallions or Blue Eiffel Tower. He's doing the same thing. He's going to call himself the Red Stallions. He's calling the Vikings 1998. I don't want him to do that. All right? But I can't, force him to say it. Okay, hey, welcome back. So I'm going to go ahead and grab the spoon. I got to wipe it off because I don't want anything else going on inside this mayonnaise jar.
Now, guys, before he does this cruel, disgusting thing, I would just like to say that he doesn't have to do this, but he does it because he is a man of his word, and he takes what we do here at Atlanta Falcon Nation seriously. And if you guys would just give him a hand, clap it up, because this is one of the most disgusting things I've ever heard in my entire life. Quick story here. Back in 8th grade, I lost a basketball game to my 8th grade teacher. Dude was 37 years old, 6'4", did me up 14-5. Had to drink a hot dog smoothie with sprinkles in it. So we've both had our fair taste of disgusting mixes. But yeah, Noah, I just like to say, man, we've been doing this for 2 years since the incredible. Well, no, I think it'd be 3 years because we started this in 2020. So yeah, 3 years. And I just like to say I love you, my boy. And if you ever need to take a quick break, if you know what I mean. Who else? Who said it in here? Who? Yeah, because that bathroom might be calling. I'm not gonna lie to you. Did you eat anything before this? Like, have you ate anything in the last hour? No? Okay, you might be good. Yeah, but yeah. I just want everyone to give him a hand, give him a prayer, and he might need to take a break in about 15 minutes. All love. All right, Noah. We know you're on mute, so yeah, whenever you're ready. No rush. I ain't gonna make you drink the whole thing. Just take a couple sips, take it down. I think you've yeah. I have no words. That's sick. That's sick.
In case you noticed, they retrieved the mayonnaise jar so they can use it for dinner. I put 4 scoops to represent the 4 touchdowns. 4 drops of sad. All right. I guess I waited too long. The coffee's not hot, so it hasn't fully melted. I'm just gonna give you guys a clear look. I don't want to spill this on my. I don't want to spill this on my laptop. Please do not spill this on my laptop. But yeah, there's a little bit of chunks on the top. It's a smell. You can smell it. I don't even normally like black coffee, so the fact that I can't save this cup, I don't even have anything to wash it down. I I have a bottle of water. That ain't gonna help me because that's only gonna confirm and solidify the taste in my tongue. I am betraying my taste buds. So before I do this, by the way, um, he just told you his story. I had my own story to tell. So back when I was 4 years old, and yes, I'm stalling for time, so shut up. So back when I was 4 years old, I was learning my ins and outs of the kitchen, and I was trying to learn some food combinations, right? Or just some basic food rules to carry with me as I grew up. Okay, so when you think about a typical lunch sandwich, you would normally have to spread your mayo on the bread. Okay, that just adds a little bit of juiciness because you don't want that dry bread to get stuck in your on the top of your bottom of your mouth because that's not an enjoyable way to have a sandwich. All right, so you got to have the mayonnaise, and it's always good no matter what kind of combination that you're choosing, whether it's like a like a ham and cheese or like a grilled cheese or a turkey club or a barbecued sandwich, whatever kind of sandwich you make. I think it's always helpful to have some cheese in there. Now, if you're lactose intolerant, then you'll have your own ways of going about it. Okay. So I have this rule. Okay. So let's use the mayonnaise for the bread and let's put some cheese in it. All right. 4 years old. My first sandwich I tried it, peanut butter and jelly.
Huh.
It didn't go so well. So mayonnaise is haunting me again.
Now
Yeah.
look, man.
Yeah. Mhm.
I'm not gonna do you like this, okay? And this is not a question. This is a like an automatic, like you need to go do this. Drop the mic, take off the headphones, and go heat up the coffee. I can't do you like that. I can't. I'm sorry. I can't do you like that. It's still gonna taste disgusting, but I would rather it be hot and disgusting than cold, slimy, and still mayonnaise and not all the way melted. So look, I'm telling you this right now, man. Drop the mic, drop the headphones, and go heat it up for about 45 seconds, 30 to 45 seconds. All right, man. All right. I'll see you back in about 2 minutes. All right. All right. Oh, wow. Still did it. Oh. 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 That was
I'm built different, Trey.
oh. Oh my. That was
Ah.
wow. That was
Bottoms up.
mother. Hey, is it cool if I play later on? Okay, you can go watch it. Just search up a link.
Ah.
Okay. All right. Whew. That was wow. Yeah. Wow. Now, I will say when I was in 8th grade, I didn't drink the whole thing. I actually threw up about half of it.
Talk about the Vikings now, Trey.
Uh, that was just give me a second to let that process of what just happened.
Oh, you need a second. Okay.
All right. So on to 1998. If you guys are wondering why I'm calling them 1998, it's because in the NFC Championship and we have a little challenge going on, so I don't have to do that. So we will be the Atlanta Stallions or the Red Stallions, I would like to say. Either one counts. And them will be 1998. So on to 1998. Wasn't even born in 10 years before. Um, or after, I should say. Um, 1998. Kirk Cousins sadly tore his Achilles. Um, yeah, so that happened. So I don't like to be happy about other teams' injuries. Of course, after what I went through, but things do happen in the NFL. Sometimes to the most important player on your team, or one of the most important players on the team, is, hey, we just lost Grady Jarrett. So, yeah. Also, Justin Jefferson, Jefferson is still out on IR with, I think it was his hamstring, I think, or quad, something like that. Um, so yeah, both of those guys are out. Alexander Madison and Cam Akers have not done much in a running game lately. Um, yes, I don't know if Kirk tore his Achilles in 1998, but he did tear it on. No, no. That would be October 29th, 2023. I am calling them 1998 because I cannot call them, if you know what I mean. Um, so I do not have to drink mayo in coffee. And I don't even drink coffee. So I probably have to put it in Kool-Aid. And I die before I do that. So on to the 1998s. Um, um, dang it, I've lost my. Oh yeah, so they still do have um, um. Why can I not remember his name? Number 17. Just gonna say number 17 right now. And now I can't remember the rookie's name. Jesus Christ, man, I'm slipping today. Ooh. Noah, if you need to go take just a mental break for about 5 minutes again, if you need to, because I can see you're going through it over there. Um, somebody tell me what number 3 and number 7. Actually, I'll just search it up. Hold up. Hold up.
My stomach is so confused.
Oh, I know. I can tell. That's why I said you'll probably need to go take a restroom break in about 10 minutes.
It's all here first, like I said, because it wasn't exactly warmed up and I couldn't stir it in properly. It's all staying. It's all still there for me to taste.
And that's exactly what I
And
told
now
you.
it's traveled down here.
Um,
The answer is yes. Continue. Who's number 3 and number 7?
okay, so KJ Osborne and Jordan Addison.
For
Then
what team?
forgotten to kill Harry was even still on the team.
Which team?
1998. So yeah, I thought
It's
you
more
were
of a
gonna,
year, but okay.
thought you were gonna get me. Um, yeah, so KJ Osborne, Jordan Addison, they're top 2 wide receivers right now. Jordan Addison will usually be in the slot. He can play both inside and outside, as well as Jordan Addison, both inside and outside. They have another one on their depth chart named Jalen Naylor, something like that. Um, yeah. So those are their top 3 wide receivers. Probably need to go drink some water because that does not look like
I
it's
just
sitting.
burped.
Yeah, I can tell. Um, yeah. So I'm pretty confident in what our corners can do against them. Jordan Addison absolutely torched. Jair Alexander last week put up 84 yards on him, 7 receptions and a touchdown, or it might have been 6 receptions. All I know is he did have some pretty good catches against them. KJ Osborne has always been kind of like that sneaky, like make a play type of guy. Like you can't really doubt him. but you don't also have to be, oh yeah, that's the number one. We gotta like just lock him down. But he's kind of like our Olamide Zaccheaus back then. Like he's not like the best wide receiver, but he can make plays, and he makes a lot of them. Their O line is banged up right now. I know, like I said, Christian Darrisaw is out. And Don Reisner is starting now since they traded their left guard for a bag of chips to the Cleveland Browns Tuesday. Um, and then we have, dang it, now I got to go look at the quarterback. Man, I'm just slipping today. Jaron Hall, Joshua Dobbs. Jaron Hall is confirmed to be starting from their head coach. So Jaron Hall will be starting, a fifth round pick out of BYU in this year's draft class. So yeah, that's their offense. Their defense has been. It started off the year terrible. I'm not gonna lie to you. It did start off the year terrible, but it's been picking it up. Hasn't been allowing much points. It's been getting to the quarterback a lot more, and it's not just talking about Daniil Hunter. I'm talking about everybody. They have been making a couple of turnovers. They made Jordan Love look like a complete sorry XFL quarterback last week. Even losing Eric Kendricks, their linebackers are still decent. They're decent. They fly around sideline to sideline. I don't really know if they're that good in pass coverage, but I do know they can stuff the run, and they are sideline to sideline guys. Their corners are Byron Murphy and okay, let's just say their secondary is burnt toast. They depend a lot on their front seven. Brian Flores is going to send a lot of blitzes. He's going to play a lot of 8-man coverage. 7-man coverage. He's going to rely a lot on his front four and his front seven to make plays and pressure Taylor Heineke tomorrow. Now, as I would say, if Drake London was in this game, I would be pretty confident Taylor Heineke would probably put up 250 yards tomorrow. With Drake London out, I don't know. Van Jefferson has been okay to this point. He had that costly drop last week. That funny story. I'm watching the game in my auntie's garage. Everyone's looking at me in the game. As soon as he dropped the ball, I fell out of my chair. The chair fell on my leg, and I smacked the ground 3 times in frustration as my face was implanted on the floor. I almost cried, but to this point, the only 3 games I've cried about as a Falcons fan was, of course, 2017. What else?
As you think about that, D. Coleman's got a question for you, so why don't you read that?
He could. It just depends on Jaron Hall has a.
I mean, for people that are like audio only, we want to make sure that cover all the bases.
Yeah. It depends on how Jaron Hall in the 1998.
I'm talking about like the question itself. Just making sure that they know what question you're trying to answer.
Oh yeah. Do you think there's a chance the Vikings go to Dobbs? Is Jaron son of a gun? You got me. I'll give you that. You got me.
Oh, you join me.
You got me.
See, I also slipped up because of a question that I didn't quite read correctly. Oh,
that I knew you were gonna try to get me because I was like, what is he talking about when I came back in this room? You got me, D. You got me. I give you that one. I guess I'll handle that one next Saturday.
With a time of 38 minutes and 30-something seconds, ladies and gentlemen, we got it.
Man, oh man. I've been practicing this hard. I haven't even said the Vikings. I've been saying 1998 all day. My dad looked at me weird. He was like, what are you talking? I said, I can't say the name later tonight. Man, oh man. I was like, what is he talking about, man? I had a brain fart right there. Look, I've been on the game all day. I've been tired running around.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, Red Science in 1998.
Now, what can happen here is that since I don't know if you want to set up your face cam or you want to send me a pre-recorded message on behalf of this as you do it, and then you're gonna send that to me, post on social media, and then I'm gonna put it on the stream. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh no, no, you're
um,
good. You
I
okay?
could put a pre-recorded thing of this. Oh, you best believe I'm gonna take my own clip out of context and then make a video out of it separately when I have the time to do it. And now I'm gonna add this as a part 2 for you. So this is the only solace I can take out of this entire stream, people.
Man,
Oh my goodness!
one
You know
time.
what? Like, here's the thing, because I had the immaculate grid set up, and I was gonna have the perfect, purposeful grid that featured the Vikings. So we were gonna get you one way or another, and that's exactly how I was gotten the last time. With an hour into it, an hour and a couple minutes into the stream, I was doing so well.
That was 20 minutes short of you too, man. That's what irritates me the most, man. I didn't beat you. I can see if this happening like when we were about to close it down. I'm talking about the Vikings and the final score or something like that. Man, I didn't even make it into the last segment. And the thing
That's
is,
why I stayed. Okay, this is why I stayed.
I thought you would have caught me because I said Falcons like 5 minutes ago, and I thought you would have heard it. I thought somebody would have heard it. I was like, oh yeah, and the Falcons. And I froze for a second because I was like, oh Jesus, I think you heard me and you didn't.
And
So
I had the same thing happen to me too. I was like, wait, I don't know if I said it, and I don't know if anyone else is gonna care to catch it, because at the time I didn't say what the challenge was. So
well, I
uh,
that was a good one. I'll give you guys that one. That was a good one. The audio thing, reading the question out, that was a good one. But yeah, do I think Dobbs gets put in? It just depends
by
on
the way,
how bad.
drinking water does not help me. Continue.
I could tell by the way you weren't like sipping it, like you were just like it wasn't like big gulps, like you're trying to wash it down. Like it's like, that's not helping. If I got some Kool-Aid, Sprite, crystal water, something in there, juice might help. Just saying, anything's got to help with it. Brushing your teeth, even though you've probably already brushed it, hey, might help again. Might help again. But yeah,
We ride and we die together.
man, oh man, I can't believe I slipped up like that.
Back to the stream.
So, yeah. Do I think Dobbs gets put in? It just depends on how bad Jaron Hall is and how bad the Vikings are getting blown out or getting beat, I should say. If Jaron Hall is having if it's like 14 or 17-10 or 17-6, and it's like still early third quarter and he's throwing like an interception or two, they might put Dobbs in because they feel like, oh yeah, we can still win this game. If it's like 38-10, by like or 24-6 or 3 at like the third quarter, early fourth, they'll put Dobbs in or something. I mean, but it's like even still, they might just have to keep him in because one, he's a rookie, he's a 5th-round rookie, so your franchise is not make it or break it on this kid. 2, you just traded for Dobbs 6 days ago or 5 days ago, so he most likely doesn't even have 40% of the playbook in his brain already. They probably do have some. I wouldn't be surprised if we seen him on like some goal line packages because he is a bigger
Because we
quarterback.
say that, but then when Baker Mayfield signed to the Rams and then had to play like 2 days afterwards, he still had to like step up, and they had a bunch of plays in there for him.
Yeah,
It just depends on like how quickly that they adapt to like the language of the playbook. Most importantly,
because to be honest, everyone. Let's think about it, guys. There's only so many plays you can run. Everyone runs the same exact plays. It's just out of different formations, different people, and different names. So he's basically learning the same plays. It's just, we called instead of calling this play cheetah 71Y X post, we call it wasp 72-6X screen. Like it's the same thing. It's just different names and different people, and of course a different team. So, yeah. Now let's get to this defense, man. Let's get to this defense. Um, yeah. Yeah, I think I already explained them. Like I said, they've been growing. They're underrated. I should say that they aren't the most talented. I think we're more talent. We're other than the front seven, we're a more talented team defense overall than them. They have the front seven. We have the secondary. I think you can pretty much put the linebackers at a tie. It's just whatever one you count more is important. Now, me, I would count. You can't really say any part of a defense is more important because if you have the lineman but don't have the secondary, it doesn't matter. If you have the secondary but you don't have the front seven, it doesn't matter. So you can't really say one is more important than the other. Um, but I think overall we have more talent than they do. We just don't have the 10 sack guy that we've all been waiting for since Vic Beasley had 15 and a half back in 2016. Um, but yeah, special teams. I never thought I would have to worry about special teams with the kickoff god on our team. Have I don't know if y'all noticed this, and no, I don't know if you watched the game last week. But if y'all remember, it was 14-3. We were coming out of halftime, or going into the 2-minute warning, and Cordell Patterson fields a kickoff at like the 1 yard line, and it looked like you could tell he was running full speed, but I swear to God, it looked like he was jogging. I was like, Jesus Christ, like you can't be that slow. Four weeks did that to you? Are you serious? I mean, I can already tell he lost some speed because how he was cutting in the Tampa Bay game. Half of those cuts, old Cordell Patterson probably takes to the house or makes 5-6 yards, man, 10, 15. You can tell this man has
Dude,
lost a step.
he made 2014 Steven Jackson look like a spring chicken.
That was like not even 2014, like 2016. Like,
Yeah, give me like Patriots Steven Jackson. Give
yeah,
me that.
like I was like, Jesus, like, are you running full speed? Like, are you trying, like, are you just trying to find a crease and you're just taking it slow? Like, what are you doing? But yeah, special team has been abysmal for the last 2 weeks. Really 3 weeks, I should say. We've had a lot of re- not gonna say that word because it's very offensive. We've had a lot of dumb moves. From the uh punt return that was almost taken to the house, the Crowder punt return that was almost taken to the house. Terrible field position in the Bucks game. I don't even want to talk about field position in the Titans game. Holy, when, and I mean when, have you ever seen someone fair catch a punt at the 3 yard line? Not the 15, not the 20, not the 20, not the 15, but the 3. The 3. And
You have
then
to touch it. Like,
Keith Smith, a fullback that runs a 4.849. Instead of letting the ball go out of bounds or up, drop in the end zone, you catch it at the 3 and you return it to the 12. Are you serious? Are you serious?
letting it go would have taken us to the 25.
Or the 40, because if it goes out of bounds, you're at the 35, 40. I'm like, what are you doing? And then the punts, like you said, the punts take you to the 20-25. So I'm like, yeah, as you see, the offense is struggling. We've been struggling to score points for 4 weeks. Even the Texas game when we won it, we were struggling because of turnovers. We started slow in the first half. We turned the ball over 2 times in the second half. We put up field goals and we turned the ball over at the most costly time. And you, out of all people, know that you are not housing any kicks because Avery Williams is not back there to return punts. You don't even like returning. You never returned punts before this year because you were a kickoff returner. You weren't a punt returner. You were a kickoff returner. So why? In Jesus' name, are you not even catching the ball and trying to return it at the 5 yard line? You fair caught it at the 5 yard line with no one in a 10-yard distance in front of you. Oh my
And yet,
God.
this is the stuff where people will look at the outcome of this game. They won't notice that. They'll just say, oh, hey, from the play-by-play sheets, it won't say that this person did a terrible job at this. They're just going to say, oh, they were fielded at 3. And then that lets you imagine what the scenario would have looked like in order for that to happen. You don't actually look at what actually happened and be like, oh, no, that's a rational idea. No. So these are the same people that will look at this. They'll look at the results. They'll look at the box scores. They'll look at the basic stats. And they'll be like, Desmond Ritter lost this game. I'm sorry. No.
The team this game.
We lost because we can't get out of our own way. Not a good decision. Neither is fair catching at the 3. All right. So, by the way, I actually have the thumbnail. Gee, it's making me do it again. You see that raspy? Oh, jeez. It's coming, Trey. You have 7 business days till this happens to you. Oh, okay. I want to try water. I don't know what to do. I'm legitimately stuck here. Okay. So yeah, the thumbnail is actually of Desmond Ritter and Taylor Heineke. We haven't really talked about them this entire time. We're 51 minutes into this stream, and we haven't really gotten a chance to talk about them. I think the reason as to why that's the case is we have to talk about everything else first, because this is all the stuff that nobody else is going to care about. So we're going to have the conversation. And for all those people that are, like, I guess, actively playing on QB Falcons, no matter who it is, right? And their response to that is, well, I'm just a fan of the logo. I don't care about the players. I'm just a fan of the logo. If you were a fan of the logo, go fill out a coloring book. Okay? We got to be here as a team because it's the ultimate team sport. You can't win if you're missing all these other different pieces that are important to functionally operating. Okay? That goes for defense, that goes for offense, and that also goes for special teams. All right? If you haven't had the ability to take a look at the importance of what special teams can do for even a great offense and even a great defense, say hello to the 2010 Chargers. Number 1 offense in the league, number 1 defense in the league, couldn't make the playoffs. Why? Because they were dog awful on special teams. Costed them several games early on in the season. They couldn't catch up. This is the stuff that you need to clear up. It's the consistency here. And this is what's causing me to not only looking at Ritter as like a potential, like, okay, well, what do we do with him in the future, right? Because if we're having this kind of decision, now, yeah, he left the game due to a concussion protocol, and it was said that he had the chance to return to the game, but they were like, nah, let's just see what we have here, because we don't want to take any risk, anything. Because guess what happens? If he hits again and has a Tua situation, well, guess what? He doesn't have the resume of Tua. That extra hit, when it was unnecessary for him to go through, might end his career, and nobody would care.
Like, everybody already
You
hates
take
him.
into consideration what happens when you put in a new quarterback in that situation. And yes, we have a chance to do well. We signed him for that reason. But you can't be also preying on this dude's downfall just because he showed up in a position that he had no control over. He's got to take over and try to win some games for us as well. If we're really trying to be the fan of the logo here, all right? if you're really trying to be the fan of Falcons, Red Stallions, whatever you want to call them, you got to care about these players too. Now, sure, they mess up. All right. We spent a good number of time talking about our mistakes. But at the end of the day, we're going to wake up tomorrow morning and we're still going to hope that they win. Because that's all we can do here. And to those that are like, oh, well, I want Taylor Heineke to fail in order to prove that Desmond Ridder wasn't the problem. Guys, you're playing roulette here with a quarterback position that you have no control over, and yet you think that this is going to prove a point to a team or to someone else that you're trying to argue with? It's not what's important here. The importance is making sure that we win enough games to make the playoffs. How we do it, well, that's up to everyone else. And I mean everyone else. So I can't take a look and be like, oh, well, this is why we're going to lose or this is why we're going to win. And it's only because of this. And it's only because of this person. Because we have people in which we could have said, oh, yeah, we're going to win this game solely because we have Bijan Robinson. We're going to win this game solely because we have Drake London. We're going to win this game solely because we have Kyle Pitts. We're going to win this game solely because we have AJ Terrell. We're going to win this game solely because we have Grady Jarrett. We could have said that. We're going to win this game solely because of Jesse Bates. We're going to win this game solely because of Younghoe Koo. We could have been saying that all the time, and then that would have been the rest of the stream. Like, there wouldn't have been anything else to say because who cares about the in-betweens, right? They just want the result. But to get the result, you got to go through all the in-betweens. So, and I was also, like, seeing a post, and I don't know if you caught this in the Discord, but it was about, like, the legitimacy of Arthur Smith as a head coach. Because he was trying to trace back to in some sort of like conspiracy theory ways and all this stuff and connections and all this other stuff. Like, okay, let me pull up this post and see if I'm the crazy one here, because the way that I looked at it, it made zero sense to me as to why this was so important. And yet, if I just keep scrolling up, a lot of people were chatty today. All right. Oh, we're getting close.
I think that was what, Thursday? I think. Maybe Wednesday.
Okay. It was found on Reddit. Of course. And it reads, wait until you read how he got his first few coaching gigs. A ton of shady FedEx connections sprinkled throughout, referring to Arthur Smith. Dash point number 1. FedEx Global Education Center at UNC. Built in 2000. Arthur Smith attends UNC 2001 to 2005 and has his first graduate assistant job there. The next dash point. Washington Redskins. I can say that because that's how it was at the time. Becomes an assistant here in 2007. Field is named FedEx Field. And Joe Gibbs, the head coach at the time, NASCAR team is sponsored by FedEx. Third dash point. This is where it gets juicy. Ole Miss, FedEx Student Athlete Academic Support Center is built in 2007. Arthur Smith becomes an assistant and lands on his feet in 2010, a whole 3 years afterwards. Next bullet point. Tennessee Titans goes to Tennessee and survives like 3 coaching staffs, which doesn't happen in the NFL. Conveniently, the FedEx headquarters is in Tennessee. And the Atlanta Falcons, last dash point. Blank and Fred Smith go way back. FedEx and Home Depot have always had a relationship with FedEx. You heard that correctly, folks. FedEx had a relationship with FedEx. His final point. Anyone that says he grinded his way up like a regular person is being willfully blind. It doesn't mean he can't be a good coach, but there's certainly more to his story than hard work. Tons of nepotism throughout his life. Now, I want everyone else to give their best reason as to why I should believe a lick of this. Because the way that I see it, I can build a building, have someone be there, whether it be the same year, the next year, 3 years from now, or just be within the vicinity of a building, or a different sport having their say in what goes on in the decision making of a football organization. He's the son of a billionaire. If he didn't want to go through the hard work and labor, he don't have to. He doesn't have to work a day in his life. And if you're going to go with the route of nepotism, did you really think you would land here? With his salary cap problems? With the quarterback situation for the future? Do you really think that he would sit here for 3 years? Going 14-20, which is not the worst coaching gigs that you can think of at the time. And most of those times we were able to say that we accidentally, I guess, won more games than we should have with him as head coach. Is there something that I'm missing here? Because I don't know why this was such a big deal to any of these points. Yeah, he went to college. Okay. Yeah, he became an assistant, which was a low position, and naturally grew just like everyone else. And the thing about Tennessee, who the heck knew that he was the son of Fred Smith? Not really anybody in that building the entire time. Okay, so if they didn't know, why would Washington know? And why would not Washington not reveal that information? It was pretty much only until we hired him that information became relevant. So
That was actually the first thing people talked about when they got hired, is if that was the sole reason he was hired. Not that he resurrected Ryan Tannehill's career, not that he made Ryan Tannehill a 33-6 TD.
not even Ryan Tannehill. We just faced Derrick Henry.
Oh yeah,
and it was with him that he was able to get out of the trade conversations and like bust category.
Yeah,
used as like a top running back in the NFL. And the next offensive coordinator that stepped in after Arthur Smith left pretty much used the same formula that Arthur Smith left behind. And that's how Derrick Henry got 2,000 yards.
And the thing is, all right, so let's think. I seen this stat when Arthur Smith was hired, and I've always remembered it till then. Derrick Henry had 3,000 yards in his entire career, or 2,000 yards in his entire career before Arthur Smith was the offensive coordinator. In the 2 years that Arthur, and I'm talking about the 4 years that Arthur Smith was the offensive coordinator, called plays, had basically control over the offense, Derrick Henry almost doubled that and doubled his touchdowns and doubled his attempts in 2 years. And it's the reason Derrick Henry is in top 5 in most paid running backs in the league right now. So, as people want to say, oh, he's only fire FedEx boy. Oh, he's only here because of his dad. Oh, we only hired him because his dad's the owner of $1 billion company. I understand all of this. If Arthur Smith was really the type of guy to get all his things given to him, he would be in FedEx right now in Washington or Tennessee, wherever you want to be, at the company right now in a big tall building that his father stays in almost every day, collecting money, collecting checks, throwing this and that out. But instead, like you said, he went to college. Okay, who doesn't go to college? He gets his job. He gets an assistant, not even an assistant coordinator or assistant offensive coordinator. I'm talking like an assistant. Like, oh, you're going to get coffee. Go get me coffee, my boy. Oh, go write these cards up for me.
Yeah, to say coffee.
Hey, look, still, that's what he was doing, okay? He grows up. He grows, 12 years, grows. becomes one of the best offensive coordinators in the league. He's up there with Eric Bieniemy and Matt LaFleur and all these guys that people now they all are talking about giving Eric Bieniemy a head coaching gig. He still hasn't got one. Good shoot, he might get one if Washington fires Ron Rivera. To be honest, he might get that. But still, like I said, Arthur Smith doesn't make the most smartest decisions as all. We've known that since he got here. But for the first time, one, he didn't let his stubbornness get in the way, and he put the quarterback that's performing a little bit better and put him in. He has went 2 years with $80 million in dead cap, Marcus Mariota as your quarterback, and Russell Gage as your wide receiver one, and won 7 games with that in his first year. You go into a second year where you had Marcus Mariota sell you from winning 10 games. 10
At least.
games. At least. At least. The team who won the division last year won a game more than you. A game. A game, guys. Now, like I said, Arthur, the play calling and the play designs have been a little iffy this year. Okay, I get it. Like I said, I will hold anybody accountable on this team from Arthur Blank, Terry Fano to Kadero Hodge, one of the lowest players on the team. Really, I can't even say that because he's been making plays. So I'll say T. Davis. I will hold anybody accountable on this team. But what I'm not going to do is trash a dude that is overperformed with terrible players and terrible rosters and somehow in the last 8 games has won 4 of them when your quarterback has turned the ball over 13 times in 8 games. Now, all of those times are not on Desmond Ridder. I'm going to say that right now. All of those times are not on Desmond Ridder. But to be able to win a game, to be able to coach players up to where your defense knows that the offense has been struggling. We're going to be out there for at least 40 minutes of the game. We're going to be out there for a while. And to be able to win 4 games against good opponents, they may not all be the best, but they were against good opponents. There hasn't been a game where you can just say we got blown out because both losses were about 16 and 14, 16, 14, 5, and 8. Really, the Jaguars game should have been a loss of 9, if we're being honest. Maybe 6, because at that time we wouldn't even have to go for a touchdown if it was only 16-7. So he got hired because of FedEx, he got hired because of his dad. I'm tired of it. I really am. And it is annoying to hear a person or hear people that is on the team. You don't hear other fan bases talking about Arthur Smith. Like, they may be upset with his fantasy. I don't give a crap about fantasy. I really don't. I would not be mad if Taylor Heineke threw for 102 yards yesterday, 2 touchdowns, and we won the game 14-0 or 14-3. I don't care. As long as
And none of those touchdowns were to anyone important.
Michael Pruitt.
We just elevated another tight end, didn't we?
Yeah, Parker
He'll get the touchdown. Yeah, he'll get the touchdown. Keith Smith, how about you get in there?
Yeah. Well, wait, no. Keith Smith's out with a concussion. He's out with a concussion.
All right. Well, Michael who's getting a rushing touchdown. That's right.
Parker Hesse.
Taylor Heineke himself.
Hey. I will take it. But as long as we are winning games, that's all I care about.
I thought that's what they cared about too.
And like
After
I said,
we're saying this despite being first in the division.
And the division is sorry. It's sorry. We already know we can beat the Bucs. We should have put 40 on the Bucs. We should have put 30 on the Panthers. And the Saints aren't that good, so where you're like, oh crap, I'm scared of the Saints are not good. Their defense is inconsistent. Derek Carr is prone to throw a 3-interception game any week. And to be completely honest with you, they overpaid the crap out of that. We all knew that from the jump. Was paying Derek Carr $160 million after what he did the last 2 years. Be honest. Be honest. Like, bro, that's like,
You know how many actual cars you could have bought?
like, shoot, like, bro, like, come on, like, no one's scaring me in this division. Now, like I said, this team is not a Super Bowl contender. Me, Noah, Matt, Mike, K Styles, Jew, we have said this since the summer when everyone was saying, okay, we're going to make the playoffs. I said we were going to make the playoffs. But I knew this team were still a couple pieces away or a couple of years away from getting the experience to say, okay, now we're ready to go to the Super Bowl. Let's think about it. Let's think about it. Do you think this team right now, and I mean right now, is going to beat the Philadelphia Eagles right now with Taylor Heineke or Desmond Ridder in and the defense playing their best? We're going to keep it close. We're not going to get blown out. We're not going to get blown out. That's for sure. We have a way better team than that. But do you honestly think
we
you
only
can go in
either lose
Philadelphia?
one way or win one way, and that's a one-score game
Yeah.
naturally.
But-
So, and it's like you want to talk about what happened then. Well, Washington once again
Just took
was
them
a
to the
thorn on
brink.
Philly's side, and last year Heineke was the reason as to why they were the thorn in their side again. So maybe not the best example of a team
Yeah.
that was like super hot, but like
Okay, let's go to it.
we couldn't beat Detroit.
Oh yeah, Miami.
So
You know what would happen? I'm being so honest with you. Miami
we
would.
we looked so much better than Miami back in preseason.
Yeah, we did.
So that was kind of weird.
Then we beat Miami. It was like 19-3, 20-3, something like that.
Yeah. Now that was backups going up against backups, so it's like their depth versus our depth
Looked
was
pretty
like
good.
night and day. So looking like that, now yeah, starters are a different thing because you got to worry about Tyreek Hill and Devon Achane. Are their healthiest, and then Raheem Mostert, and just all that. Just no, but it's not like we couldn't hold ourselves in the same fashion as what Philly did against them. Because Jalen Hurts was also pretty turnover prone. I mean, he gave them a pick six in that game when they were facing that Sunday night or whatever. So it's like, yeah, there's a couple teams you can throw out there where it's like, no, sorry. Like, even me on the most optimistic days are like, I'm sorry, that's a loss. But I don't see it anywhere on the schedule. And I darn sure don't see it the rest of the way after this team.
Oh yeah, no. We have the easiest schedule for the rest of the season. Now, is that me saying, oh yeah, we're gonna go 13-4 and win out?
But that being said, how we understand where we are as far as like a roster that needs to be built and completed in order to have that push where we can be in those legit conversations where we wouldn't have to like constantly think about the situation, is that we have to first put together a roster that beats our own division, because that guarantees us a ticket to the playoffs. That guarantees us a ticket for a postseason home playoff game too. And we know how we are when we're at home. By the way, this is a home game. So we'll see how that works out. And the other thing is, once you punch that ticket in, it's anything goes. 6 seeds can beat 1 seeds. 7 seeds, we'll get there. We needed more sample size, but 5 seeds can go all the way. 4 seeds can go all the way. It doesn't matter where you are, so long as you punch your ticket in and finalize yourself as a playoff team and also a playoff contender. Now, what happens when we go through a year-by-year process is that some teams will fall, other teams will go in and replace those teams. We need to be one of those teams that replaces the Bucks from last year. And how we do that? Well, first of all, we got to beat them, which we did. We got to beat our other division opponent, which we did, which is how we're number 1 in the division, because we're undefeated in it. And we might continue to be, because we're having I think what the next opponent that we have is Tampa Bay before New Orleans, right?
Uh,
I think we
no,
face
no,
them
no, no,
again.
no, 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 no. We face New Orleans literally right after the bye week. It's okay.
Okay, so
So
it was this one, Cardinals bye week, and then them.
yeah,
Okay,
and then
that's
we
fine.
face the Jets, and then the Buccaneers for the last time, and then it's the
Carolina,
yeah, and then
and
Carolina
then last week of the season
is
is New Orleans
Saints.
again.
Because it's that Colts, Bears, Saints stretch where it's like two away games and one home game. I think our last home game is against the Colts.
Colts
So
might be weird because their
oh,
ground game is also pretty good, but
the Colts are
we'll
so.
save them for. We gotta wait for them
I
because
don't know what the Colts
because
are.
we don't know what team's going to show up with them. We don't know what team's going to show up with Minnesota. We don't know what team's going to show up for us. So that's kind of where we are. Like,
Shoot,
yeah, we can like put it this way: when we put it together, we can beat or put up a good fight with literally any team in the NFL. But it's times where we don't, where it looks like we can't beat anybody, and that's the frustrating part, you know. So I say we'll look at how this game is because it seems like it's another like depth versus depth kind of game. Because yeah, neither of us are at our strongest here. Neither of us are where we want to enter this game into because this would have been a more entertaining game, right? I would have loved to see either Jeff Okuda or AJ Terrell against Justin Jefferson again.
oh,
I
that
would have
would have.
loved to see it. I would have loved to see like Jesse Bates trying to mentally outmatch Kirk Cousins. I would have loved to see it, but we're not there yet. I would have loved to see how Desmond Ritter would handle another like massive threat on the edge with a Danielle Hunter. Would have loved
Or
to see it,
Kenny McCary too. Well, we get to see that tomorrow,
but
but
we can't really see that.
yeah,
Yeah, but I would have loved to see Drake London go up against the secondary. Can't see it. Would have loved to see Grady Jarrett go against the offensive line.
oh, that would have been cookies.
Can't see it. So, yeah, it's times like this where you got to let the rest of your team play it out. And if you don't want to be here to see it, see you in April. Because we all know what you're trying to do.
Well, we'll see in March. They be there for free agency. But like you said, man,
No,
it's
not really.
yeah, but yeah,
Unless
like
if it's for the sake of the other teams or the opponents or division rivals or whatever.
pretty much. But yeah, like you said, man, this we're not a Super Bowl team yet, and we all know this. But we have a good enough roster, and I think that's where a lot of the frustration comes from people. Is like, okay, we have the defense finally. We don't have we have the defense, but we don't have it completely. We still need pressure. We don't have Troy Anderson in there right now. We still need some help on the D line. Let's get it straight. And most of the guys on the D line that started right now, Calais Campbell was 36. David Onyemata is 30. Grady's getting ready to turn. He'll be 31 next year. David Onyemata will be 31 next year. But Dupree's on a 1 year deal. So a lot of these faces are not faces. You'll be like, okay, these guys are here for the next 10 years. So we still need some anchors for the next 5 to 6 years. But has this roster been closer than ever to competing for a Super Bowl or competing to get into the playoffs? Yeah. And I think, like I said, I think with these next 10 games, we win 7 of them. I think we end the season off 11-6. And I say that because one, yesterday, yesterday, I mean not yesterday, Sunday, last week, I don't think that this team ever wants to feel that type of heartbreak moment in their life. I don't think that defense will ever allow especially a rookie quarterback, but a quarterback to just tee off on them like that. Because, like I
Dude, we
said,
haven't had a Titans quarterback wearing the number 8 jersey in his first start since Mariota back in 2015. But then
yeah,
before then, it didn't happen since Fran Tarkenton back in 1960.
hey, things happen, man. But yeah, like I don't think that defense. I don't like tomorrow. I think we probably had the best defensive game we've had all year. And the reason I say that is you could tell last week they didn't take Will Levis completely seriously as they should. They took it as, oh,
Well,
we're facing
they
another
started
season.
Malik Willis right away and then
You
fumbled the snap
fumble.
and
Yeah,
bye for the rest of him, I guess.
yeah.
That's
But
kind of
it's
weird.
like
But
I don't think they took Will Levis like, oh yeah, we just gotta respect this kid. Like I think they were like he gotta make a turn he got to make us earn his respect, and he did.
And maybe it was because we faced Bryce Young, we faced Jordan
Like
Love,
CJ
we faced
Stroud,
CJ Stroud. We
it
got
was
the rigmarole of a lot of young quarterbacks, and then it
that
was
we
just like he was
dominated.
the outlier.
And the thing is, I've always said this. Every team, and this is why I say I never want to go undefeated in the season. I would always love to go undefeated in the season, but this is why I say it's kind of bad because every team needs those couple of losses to be like, we got to lock in. We can't have that happening. I don't want to feel that again. I don't want to feel that pain again. We cannot have that happen again. It happened to the Bucks. The Bucks started off 6-2. They lost, or 6-1. They lost three straight, and went into their bye week at 7-4. Come out, they don't lose another game at all. Go undefeated for the rest of the regular season. Of course, we all know what happened in the playoffs. They're going to win the Super Bowl. Now, is that going to be us? I don't know because we don't have Tom Brady at quarterback. I'm just being honest with you. But do I think they're the type of team to say, okay, we got 2 games before our bye week. We got an 8-game stretch after the bye week. And we know that we got to lock in if we want to seriously be playing in January. I think we have the veterans and the players and the coaches to be like, okay, yeah, this we like that can never happen again. Like they know that was unacceptable. They know that was like that just cannot happen. So
And
tomorrow, like
they can't let it happen back to back weeks.
yeah, like no, that's not gonna happen. I like I said, I think tomorrow, and I'll this is like a pre-final score prediction, but tomorrow I think we have like a 3 interception game, and I'm being so serious.
So I think that about wraps up our conversation here. Was there anything else you want to try to get out of the way before we move on to our last thing?
Um, Taylor Heineke. I know there's been a. I'm not gonna call out anybody's names. I'm not Mike. I don't do those things. Mike and K Styles. Hey, I love you guys. Y'all some real dudes. Y'all ain't scared to call out that. Hey, I ain't saying I'm scared, but hey, I like to be peaceful on here. Me and Noah, we're chill guys. Now we invite anybody to come in here and
Unless you
say,
should make me do something like this, then
yeah, yeah.
I don't know what happens.
Now, come on, Jesus Christ. Okay, I'll worry about that game later. But yeah, um, I know there's been some people on Twitter that is saying we want Taylor to do bad tomorrow so that we can be proved that Desmond Ritter was not totally wrong, but that Arthur Smith was like the main guy. And this is probably the most chaotic I've seen Falcons Twitter since the Dan Quinn 2020 days when they were just everybody's getting to play. Oh, Julio. Oh yeah, he sucked. Oh, Matt. Oh, he's Dan. Oh, Thomas. Oh, Rich McKay. Oh, oh yeah, you got like everyone's getting. I just seen somebody a couple days ago say Todd McShay's. I mean, not Todd McShay. Rich McKay's got to go. I was like, what is Rich McKay? He's not even handling football things anymore. He's handling the stadium, the money aspects to getting more profit
He's
for the
more with just the rest of the league.
yeah, like he's the rest of the league type of guy, not the oh yeah, he's the main reason we're in this situation right now. And the thing is, he's not gonna get fired because he's one of the
Like
pro.
it's like as if like we don't have access to where the print or the practice facilities are, and it's like someone has a recording of him like going up to a coach and be like, "Hey, make this guy terrible." Like
What are you like, guys? That's not what that he's not. He doesn't have anything to do with what we have going on the teams right now as far as football is going on. But yeah, like I said, I have always been a Desmond Ritter supporter since he was drafted. But Taylor, tomorrow, I want you to have the best game of your life, man. Do what you have got to do to win this game. Sling it around, make some plays. Do what you did last week, and don't turn the ball over. Now
and
we
even
have
if it doesn't work out, give
hey
ourselves some other ways to win.
hey
Don't let other things be an issue and leak into this cause mess. It's just mess. We
and
can't
just
let this unravel because of that.
and just because Taylor Heineke is a better passing quarterback right now than Desmond Ritter does not mean we need to throw the ball 51 times again. Run the ball. The Vikings are not that good of a run defense to where they can stop Tyler Algier and Bijan Robinson. Bijan Robinson, as you've seen, if you give him the ball, can pop off any run for 20 to 25 yards and maybe house call it too. So please continue to run the ball, Mr. Arthur Smith.
It also
Um,
helps when Taylor Heineke's been in the league since like 2017, 2018,
24, 15, I think.
around
Yeah, 2016,
even then.
2017. Yeah.
So yeah, he's had some time in those leagues, in those offices, in those quarterback rooms, and all that kind of stuff. So it's like, yeah, he's there. Of course, there's going to be a difference. Like,
Yeah.
all right, so we're gonna get all that out. We're gonna try one grid, and I think they're using different categories for us this time around, which I like because it spices things up. It adds some other things in here. Um, one thing that I want to try is what is it? Ooh, grid number 107. Now, to be fair, I haven't seen these grids. These this is just something I gotta pull up here. But Trey, I'll throw you a bone. But I let you go first last time. I'm gonna go first this time. Same rules applies. We're going tic-tac-toe style. I gotta fill out something 3 in a row, and you'll understand why I'm trying to throw you a bone here. Because there's an Alabama section.
Oh, that's a bit. Ooh. Oh, that's a bit. Oh, this is gonna be fun.
So
Oh, this is
remember, obscurity is the name of the game.
all right. Let's
We're trying
do
to
it.
fill these out. We have one guess at a time. Um, if we come up with a percentage that's lower than 1% or 1% or lower, I'm going to give it that low. We get to go again. I don't know if I want to go again. My first guess, if I ever decide to have something like that happen, but it is really rare, right? So, and if it's a guess where the the percentage on the top right is 45% or higher, then that point will go to the other person. So we can't have anything that's too obvious. Anything else in between, that's just a normal guess. If it's like 44 or like 2%, it helps us out. We get the point there. And nothing else is all that super complicated other than that. Workflow Productions. By the way, he Trey had just mentioned about Calais Campbell's age. And now we always like to joke about it. And I just did some mental math. Yeah, if he's 36, Trey, he's only 12 years older than me.
Oh. Oh, I forgot him and Arthur Smith were in college at the same time. Wow.
Calais Campbell's only 12 years older than me.
Man.
Oh, man.
Time flies by, man, I swear.
All right. Enough existential dread. Let's get on with this grid. Since I get to start first, I gotta take out one of these Alabama slots, but I am so terrible at colleges. I only do it for scout purposes.
Man, we only
And I scout so many different people, and I tend to forget after a while where they go. So here's what I'm gonna do. I don't know if this is gonna count. I don't want to risk it. I don't want to risk it. I don't want to risk it. I'll go bottom right. See, I'm only putting this here because I don't think it'll work here. John Evans. 2%. All right. I filled that slot out. I'll let you go next.
You took him away from me, huh? Mm-hmm. Okay, let's think. Okay, so I'm familiar with the Eagles, Chiefs, of course, my Bama boys. Hey, y'all keep me updated on the score right now. So I go watch the game. Let's see. Now, the last time I started in the middle, and it gave me a lot of leadway, so I'm thinking about doing that again. But I'm also thinking I might go a different route. So I don't know. Let me think. Let me think. Okay, I think I got one, but I need to make sure that he played for this team too. Let me remember. Um, oh, got one for the Eagles, Alabama. Eli Ricks.
You get another turn. It's 1%.
Yes, sir, ski. Okay, okay.
I hate this rule.
Me too. Me too.
Just kidding. All right.
I almost forgot he went undrafted this year. I don't know why. Um. Okay. Uh, hmm. Okay, I think I know where I'm gonna go with this one. Let me think. Let me think. Um. I'm kind of confused because I don't know if he played for this team too. I know he played for the other one.
I'm assuming you're going center, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm going center. Um.
Now keep this in mind. If you don't get this, or like if the square is empty, then that's a less guess for you later on.
Okay. I
So
forgot.
you would pretty much be wasting your opportunity to get the extra guess you just earned.
I forgot we did that rule now. Okay. Um. I think I'm gonna go with wide receiver Jason Avant.
2%. Okay. I got to come up with an Eagle and a Steeler. Now, back in the mid 40s, during World War II, these two teams had to actually become the Eagles because there just wasn't enough teams to go across, or there just wasn't enough players to go on either team. So they just had to combine for that 1 year. They were terrible, by the way. I think it was like Arizona and stuff had to do the same thing too. They were also terrible. So I don't know if a guess like that works here. Um, not like I'd know a name in between that era, anyways. But I just know about that fact. So to go here, let's see. I feel like there was a linebacker here that shares these teams, but I don't remember which one. But I also feel like if I can come up with a Titan Chief player faster than you can come up with this player, I might have a better chance just going this bottom row too. But I also feel like this is just too obvious where I can't ignore it if I just think I'm the wrong person. Oh man, there's got to be someone here. Why? Why? It's they're both in Pennsylvania. There should be so many like players to choose from in between here, and yet nothing's coming to mind right away. Ooh, okay, there's got to be some. I got to think about positions that move a lot, and it's like running backs, wide receivers, corners, um, Maybe quarterback. Maybe quarterback. Maybe quarterback. Which quarterback though? There's got to be a quarterback that's in here somewhere. I'm thinking of like obscure Steelers quarterbacks now. Because I don't think Tommy Maddox went anywhere, at least not there. I feel like Charlie Batch moved, but I don't think it was to Philly. I don't care about none of that. I remember David Garrard. Or was it no? Was it Byron Leftwich? I think it was Leftwich. I think I remember him being a Steeler at 1.2. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna go with another quarterback. That's your point. You win. I thought that was obscure enough. It's just over 45% too. It's a 47.
Okay, so, well, I was gonna go because I was like, okay, well, even though since I won, I just want to fill out this one. He can really go for both, but I almost forgot because I was like, okay, if he gets this right, what happens? How much percentage of people actually remember that Minka Fitzpatrick played for the Dolphins too?
Yeah, I mean that was pretty obvious to me. So I was like, that might be too high of a percentage. I want to go with someone else. But then I was trying to think of like Titans Chiefs or like how obvious it would be for that Eagles Steelers one, because I was thinking of like guys like Deuce Staley or whatever. But then I can't remember if that was a name that I could have used there. But I can't refresh it. So someone else has to do that other screen and try to see if they can use Deuce Staley for this one. I feel like that was the case. And I also feel like there was another linebacker that I could have used too. Like I said, that was where my first thought went to. It's like, man, there's got to be a linebacker that went there. But now we have this other grid. We could have had another one. I was trying to think back to like the Vikings one that I saw, which I think was 105, was it? Yeah, this one. I was going to try to start with this one if you still hadn't said either team name. But with more grids coming along, we're going to have more opportunities for different things to pop up. And I haven't been paying attention to either of these ones for the rest of the week. So like this is the only time in which you and I are both seeing these. So but yeah, that's going to do it. For those that are still here, any score prediction that you want to put for this final thing? That way we close this thing. And I'm just going to say that loss was on the mayo in my mouth. Anyways, move on. So what's your first score prediction for this Falcons-Vikings game?
So,
anybody else in the chat too?
I don't know. Because I was been thinking, and I was like, man, like, bounce back game, gets a 5th round rookie, no Justin Jefferson, O-line's banged up. This is the perfect game to make a statement and go off. This is also the perfect game to make Jaren Hall look like Tom Brady, like we made him look like Will Levis. So I'm not going to get too cocky with this one. My first thought Thursday was we're going to blow this team off 38-10. That was my first one. I was like, we're going to blow this team out 30.
I think you said that last week too.
Yeah, I did. I did, and that really backfired. Anyway, I'm gonna go because it's the thing is I don't know how this offense is gonna work without Drake London, and I don't know how the defense is gonna respond, even though I feel like they're gonna respond pretty good. And I also don't know how Daniel Hunter is not gonna have 5 sacks on this offensive line with Caleb McGarry out there, and Jake Matthews has been inconsistent. It's just been a shaky week, man, from Montez Sweat to what Arthur just said about Kurt Warner yesterday and all of that. Is messy week, messy week. Then my last high school game would get blown out 38-0. Anyway, um, yeah, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go. This is the optimistic in me. Please, for the love of God, don't have this backfire. I'm gonna go 27-10. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna say we win by 3 scores. I don't know why I'm doing this to myself again, because I might be setting myself up for disappointment like I've been doing the last 10 years. But I have faith in my team. And that's all you need in life is faith and love. Okay. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna say is just in case we don't blow them out and it's a 1-score game, I'm gonna say 20-13.
That was a score that I had in my head for a while.
Also, I have a feeling Demir Bird catches a touchdown tomorrow. That's 40 yards plus. You heard it here first.
Because Arthur Smith, believe it or not, doesn't care about fantasy football, despite what you may have heard. I'm going to shorten it. I'm going to go 17-10.
Okay, I'll take that one.
I don't know where that 17 is going to come from, and I don't know how we allow the 10. But I have a feeling that they're both going to be very close to each other because that's the only way we know how to win.
When was the last time we had a blowout win, like an actual, like we just beat the dog on the side of the team?
The Raiders back in 2020. 43-6.
Huh. Well, hey, 3 years later, let's do it.
And I remember that because I was surrounded by a bunch of Raiders fans when I was watching the game live with them.
Well,
but I came out unscathed because, like I said, I'm built different.
I still don't know how you drink coffee with mayo. That is Well, I better get ready for it anyway. So yeah,
you're gonna know how.
Yeah.
All right. So everyone else, stay tuned like you did for me.
I'll do it live.
Just a normal Cardinals Falcons review coming up for you. All right. So until then, you guys take care, and we'll see you then.
For sure. Catch you guys next week, guys.
Yep.